Bonjour French learners, it's Taby here from French Speak, and in this video I'm going to share with you 10 of the mistakes or missing words that collectively we collected at one of our recent events. So it's a conversation practice. There's beginners, intermediate and more advanced learners, and here's the list we came up with. So everyone contributed with either missing words or some mistakes that they had made. To say no worries, numéro 1. No worries is pas de souci. Pas de souci. Pas de souci. Pas de souci. No worries. Numéro 2. We were having a chat about some books that we like to read, and someone said, oh, I brought back some of the kids' books or teenagers' books from France last time, and they brought back some of my favorites, which are Astérix et Obélix, Lucky Luke, what did they have? Tintin. So those ones are some of the books I grew up with, and these types are called comic books. In French, we call them les BD or les bandes dessinées. So you take B for bande and D for dessiné, and you've got the letters B and D. Make sure you pronounce B, D, because if you mispronounce the alphabet letters B, D, you might end up sounding like you're saying bee from like the insect, a bee. So in French, B, D. Think of it as having an accent aigu on it. So we practice the pronunciation of it. No point adding another word to your arsenal if you're not going to be understood when you say it. So les BD, comic books. Numéro 3. It was a pronunciation thing. There was a conversation at a table and someone was talking about portable, but they were saying potable. So there's two separate words. Potable is drinkable. So if you're thinking of whether you can drink some water in a certain place, l'eau est potable, potable. Portable, and you've really got to pronounce that R after the O, portable is un téléphone portable, a mobile phone. So drinkable, potable, and a mobile, un portable. It can also be called un mobile in certain places. I always call it portable, so that's the one I use. Then someone asked, comment dit-on? How do we say, comment dit-on? I must go or I have to run, sorry. And how I'd usually say it is, je dois filer. Now, I've got to run is quite casual, quite familiar. Not rude, but definitely a familiar phrase in English. So to match it, I would probably say, je dois filer, désolé. I've got to run. Je dois filer, désolé. Then we were talking about what we take on our holidays, what are some essentials in our suitcase, dans la valise. And we talked about a hairdryer. Do you know how to say that word? It's un sèche-cheveux. Un sèche-cheveux is a hairdryer. Numéro 6 was a conversation about people's jobs. So they were asking, qu'est-ce que vous faites? Or, quelle est votre profession? And someone said, je suis fonctionnaire. Je suis fonctionnaire. And that's because they're a public servant or a government worker. Je suis fonctionnaire. So un fonctionnaire or une fonctionnaire is the name of that job for public servants. Numéro 7, someone wanted to say, I would like to improve my French. They were explaining why they were attending, and they said, I would like to improve my French. So I would like is nice and simple. Je voudrais, and that could be used at the coffee shop. I would like a coffee. Je voudrais un café. I would like to book something. Je voudrais réserver. So really useful phrase. I would like to improve. Je voudrais améliorer. Améliorer. So all together, they were saying, je voudrais améliorer mon français, my French. Numéro 8. Someone was saying that after a long break in French, in terms of practice, they had been still learning some French and reading here and there and listening, but they were more doing absorption of French rather than production of French. And I always want to remind all learners, you have to balance the two. You've got to balance how much you're taking in and how much you're producing. And it's usually where the challenge is to convince students that they have to produce more French. So they were talking about being rusty, saying, I'm rusty. And they had looked for the word, and it is the word rouillé. Rouillé is rusty. A bike can be rusty. If you say je suis rouillé, it's usually because you're out of shape. So more physical thing. I'm a bit rusty, I'm a bit out of practice, I'm a bit out of shape. To say that my French is rusty, you'd probably say je manque de pratique. Je manque de pratique en français. So I'm lacking practice in French rather than my French is rusty, literally. So the word for rusty is rouillé, but je manque de pratique en français would be how you'd probably say, I'm feeling rusty in my French. My French is rusty. Numéro 9, we were back to the airport and we were talking about how much we want to pack in our suitcases and that we sometimes have to pay surcharge. To weigh the bag was what I was asked. Comment dit-on to weigh my suitcase? And it's peser la valise. La valise is the suitcase. I think I mentioned it earlier. Peser is weighing it. Peser. To weigh. And finally, someone was asking, how do we say, never mind, it doesn't matter? And that is, ce n'est pas grave. Ce n'est pas grave, which you can drop the ne to make it c'est pas grave. C'est pas grave, ce n'est pas grave. They're your options. That takes us to 10, and I'll say au revoir et à bientôt. Merci.